Welcome to Barrington White House. I'm Roland Potter, the cultural director here. Thank you for coming as we begin our summer series. Some of you have been here for our fall and spring, so thank you for coming down for our summer series. Two things to remind you about. Everybody knows what to do with cell phones. And the program brochure that you received when you came in, please notice that there are a number of donors, sponsors, sustainers that make our events here possible. So if you know any of these people, work with them, if they're your friends, please thank them for their support because it's very important to us. And would you please now make a real round of applause for Bacoa, the sponsor of the Ice Cream Social. And the store that brought over the ice cream is called the Ice Cream Social. It's right down Station Street. So please stop by there sometime soon too. So there was a time in America when people didn't let their lives revolve around cell phones. They revolved around, in many ways, radio shows. So if you were a young man, you knew before dinner you were listening to the Lone Ranger. And if you wanted to chuckle with your neighbor, you might say, well, how old do you think Jack Benny really is? Or if you really wanted to chuckle, you said to a friend, what does Fibber McGee keep in that closet? So, would you please welcome TesserAct to tell you about those classic music and theater shows. Thank you.
Hello, this is CBS, the Star's address. May I help you?
Yes, operator. With the change of time back from daylight back to standard, could you tell me what program is on at 4 o'clock?
Just a minute. Say, Mabel, what program's on today at 4 o'clock?
I don't know, Gertrude. I'll look it up in this radio guide.
Hold it, Mabel, hold it.
Huh?
Look at whose picture's on page 8.
Well, take off my glove and dial it with my naked finger. If it ain't Jack Benny. He's not only handsome, but look at that strong chin. What character.
Some character. One night last week he drove me up to Mulholland Drive. Pulled over to a lonely spot. Turned off the ignition and said, well, what do you know? I'm out of gas.
No.
Yeah. So I'd be very happy to buy some.
Oh, but that embarrassed him.
Embarrassed in nothing. He siphoned a gallon out of his tank and sold it to me. Now, Mabel, you can't stay mad at a man like Jack Benny. Just look at that picture. The way he's standing there so casual and nonchalant with his coat thrown over his arm.
Yeah, and just look at those muscles.
Muscles? Where?
On the floor. They fell out of his sleeve.
Oh, yeah? Yes.
Operator, this is Jack Benny.
Gertrude, what's the matter?
He's waiting for applause.
I'm not waiting for applause. In my dressing room now, operator, with a change of time today, I'd like to check my watch. What time is it, please?
It's 20 minutes to 4.
20 minutes to 4? That's funny. I've got 20 minutes to 3.
Hold on. Mabel, what time have you got?
20 minutes to 5.
No, honey. You moved your watch ahead an hour, and you were supposed to move it back. Gee, boy, are you dumb?
Well, I'm not as dumb as Jack Benny. He didn't move it at all.
How goody. His muscles fell out of his sleeves.
Operator, I heard that, and I'm going to report you. That Gertrude thinks she's so smart. That's the last time I sell her Ethel for the price of regular. Now, let's see. Where did I put my spoon? Oh, so you finally got here. Hello, boss. Rochester, you know I'm always nervous before doing a program. Why do you have to be late?
Late? I got 20 minutes to 2.
Well, no wonder our watches are all mixed up, and it's your fault.
My fault?
Yeah. What were you just supposed to do at 2 o'clock this morning?
What I always do. Tiptoe in the old room and put a hot water bottle on your feet.
Was that all you did?
Well, I must confess, boss, I tickled your toes a little.
Oh, that was you.
Yeah. When I saw the way you had your arms around that pillow, I figured you were expecting something.
Rochester, I always sleep with my arms around the pillow.
I know, but last night you looked at it and said, don't you think 2 can live as cheap as 1?
Gee, I do the silliest things in my sleep. I can understand putting my arms around the pillow, but talking to it. Rochester, why didn't you wake me up?
I hated to cut in, boss. You were dancing.
Oh, well, Rochester, I'm going down the hall to Miss Livingston's dressing room. I'll see you later. Gee, it's great after being up late, walking my pillow back home. Mary, are you in there?
Just a minute, Jack. I'm not dressed yet. Oh, Pauline?
Yes, Miss Livingston?
Mr. Benny wants to come in. Help me into my dress, please.
Yes, ma'am. Miss Livingston, how long has he been on your program?
Well, Pauline, it isn't my program. It's Mr. Benny's. Mr. Benny's the star. I just work for him, and he pays me a very nice salary. Not as much as I pay you, but a very nice salary. Pauline, how does my dress look?
Well, it looks all right, Miss Livingston, but if I were you, I'd wear it a little shorter. You have such good legs.
Well, thanks, Pauline.
It's too bad you only have 2 of them.
What?
Well, what I mean is, when you've got something so nice, it's so bad you can't have more of it.
Well, believe me, Pauline, every girl who has nice legs is perfectly satisfied with 2 of them. After all, who look at a woman with 3 legs?
Everybody.
Mary, how about it?
Just a minute.
I don't know why it takes women so long to get dressed. Men don't take that long. It takes Rochester just 5 minutes to put me together, sometimes less.
Oh, Jack!
Oh, Bobby, I thought you were rehearsing the band.
Well, I stood it just as long as I could.
What do you mean?
Well, Jack, when I agreed to take over the same orchestra you've had all the time, I didn't know what I was getting into.
What?
These guys are driving me nuts.
Well, why? What's wrong?
Well, look, in the first place, I'm stuck with an electric guitar player whose nose lights up.
I know.
Yeah, but there's the trombone player who's chained sitting next to next to him.
Look, Bob, if you just have a little bit of patience, you'll be fine, and just keep at it.
And a drummer with a candle on his head because it's his birthday.
Bobby,
And I'm not even going to mention the accordion player who cracks peanuts in the pleats.
well, Bobby, just have
Mr. Benny,
patience.
Mr.
I'm sure.
Benny.
What is it, Doris?
Donna Wilson is looking all over you. You should have started the program 15 minutes ago.
15 minutes ago? I just got 3:15.
I've got 4:15.
Doris, what does your watch say?
Bulldog.
I don't need that. Anyway, kids, if we're 15 minutes late, we better get out on the stage.
Jack, where have you been? Hurry.
Look, Donna, this is not my fault.
But the program.
Well, Donna, daylight savings time's got me all mixed up. We still have plenty of time to do the sketch, so take it easy. While I'm handing out the scripts, Doris,
Could you order after 4?
No, I know that. Do your song.
Oh, okay. There's a tiny house. There's a tiny house by a tiny stream. By a tiny stream. Where a lovely lass. Where a lovely lass had a lovely dream. Had a lovely dream. And her dream came true. And her dream came true. Quite unexpectedly. In Gilly, Austin, Pepper, Caxamel, and Hogan by the sea. She went out one day. She went out one day. Where the tulips grow. Where the tulips grow. When a handsome lad. When a handsome lad. Stopped to say hello. Stopped to say hello. And before she knew. He kissed her tenderly. In Gilly, Austin, Pepper, Caxamel, and Hogan by the sea. The happy pair were married one Sunday afternoon. They left the church and ran away to spend their honeymoon in a tiny house. In a tiny house. By a tiny stream. By a tiny stream. Where the lovely lass. Where the lovely lass had a lovely dream. Had a lovely dream. And the last I heard, they still live happily in Gilly, Austin, Pepper, Caxamel, and Hogan by the sea. So now you've heard the story of how it all began.
I think I'd like to go there.
That's a good idea, kid. Sing very soft. Sing very soft. Pianissimo. Pianissimo. Like a little bird. Like a little bird. Walking in the snow. Walking in the snow. That was very nice. That was very nice. Now sing it merrily. It's Gilly, Austin, Pepper, Caxamel, and Hogan by the sea. It's Gilly, Austin, Pepper, Caxamel, and Hogan by the sea. Gilly, Austin, Pepper, Caxamel, and Hogan by the sea. Gilly, Austin, Pepper, Caxamel, and Hogan by the sea.
Thursday, singing Gilly, Austin Pepper, Caxamel, and Mogan by the sea.
Jack, what sketch are we going to do?
We're going to do the satire on that wonderful picture, High Noon, which starred Gary Cooper. I'm going to play the leading role.
You don't even know what time it is.
Oh, quite close. Donna, turn to page 12 and introduce the play.
Okay, Jack.
Bobby, is the orchestra ready?
Well, some of the boys are sitting up.
Good, good. Take it, Donna.
Ladies and gentlemen, for our feature attraction of the evening, we're going to present our version of that epic of the West, the Stanley Kramer production of High Noon.
Do not forsake me, oh my darling.
The year is 1875. The place, the little town of Hadleyville. The scene is in the office of the Justice of the Peace.
I'm the town marshal, and my name is Gary King. This is my wedding day. Yep. Right this moment, I'll be getting married to my sweetheart, Amy.
Do you, Amy, take this man to be your lawful wedded wife?
I do.
Do you, Gary, take Amy to be your lawful wedded wife?
Yeah, I'll take her to be my wife. I'll be her husband.
Now repeat me, Amy. I, Amy, take thee, Gary, to love, honor, and cherish.
I, Amy, take thee, Gary, to love, honor, and cherish.
Now you, Gary, being her husband, take thee, Amy, to love, honor, and cherish.
I, Gary, take thee, Amy, to love, honor, and cherish.
And with all my worldly goods I thee endow.
And
Come on, say it. And with all my worldly goods I thee endow.
I, Gary, take thee, Amy, to love, honor, and cherish.
Justice, I even had to buy the ring.
I now pronounce you man and wife.
Gary, my husband.
Amy, my bride, kiss me.
It's customary for the justice of the peace to get the first kiss.
Oh, stand aside, Amy. The man wants to kiss me.
I mean her.
Oh, come on, Amy. Let's get going on our honeymoon.
Gee, Gary, I'm so glad you're going to give up your job as marshal and put away those awful guns.
Yes, Amy. Now we can have a peaceful life.
Marshal!
Yeah, what's up?
Terrible news. Frank Miller has been released from jail.
No.
Yeah, and he's arriving in town at high noon.
High noon?
Yes, high noon. And 3 of his henchmen are waiting at the railroad station to meet him.
Where are my guns? And I better swear in some deputies. I gotta get Frank Miller before he gets me.
Gary, tell me, what's this all about?
Well, Amy, that's who you are. Amy, 5 years ago, I arrested Frank Miller and sent him to jail. He vowed he'd kill me when he got out. Well, I gotta get him first.
But Gary, you may be killed. I don't want to be a widow on our wedding day. I want to go on a honeymoon.
Look, Amy, I can't run away. You wouldn't want to be married to a craven coward, would you?
I'd do anything to get out of the May Company.
It was then that I realized that Amy, spelled sideways, is mad. But I had my duty to perform, even if it meant losing Amy. I went outside and I walked the hot, dusty, deserted streets, looking for men to serve as deputies.
Oh, to be torn twixt love and duty, supposing he loses his fair hair and beauty. Look at that big hand move along, nearing high noon. He made a vow while in state prison, vowed it would be my life or his'n.
I went everywhere looking for deputies. I went to their homes. I went to the general store. I even went to the saloon. We had a saloon scene, but we had to cut it because Phil Harris was working for another network at the time. Finally, I went looking for desperate Dennis McNulty, a man who had been my assistant. Suddenly, I saw him come riding towards me.
Whoa, easy now, easy. Easy, old paint. No.
I never had the heart to tell him he rode that cow everywhere. The fact was, he was the man who invented that white line down the middle of highways. In fact, he dismounted and said,
Ah, Gary, congratulations. I hear you just got married.
"That's right, I did."
Who'd you marry? The school teacher?
No, why?
They always do in westerns.
Well, look, I haven't time to talk with you about that anymore, Frank. Dennis, look, I need more rehearsals, and I need help. Frank's out to kill me, and I need help right now. Also, another rehearsal with you would be good.
You sure do. You sure came to the right man. I'll help you.
You will? You mean you're not afraid?
Of course not. When I see Frank Miller, I'll sneak up behind him, I'll stick my gun to his back and say, feet up.
You mean hands up?
Nah, feet up, pet him with the popo.
What?
Let's see him left, ha-ha.
As I left him, he was milking that cow. He turned it over on his back. It looked like the fountain at Wilshire and Santa Monica. I kept walking on through the town looking for help. The streets were deserted. It was getting close to high noon, and I had to find somebody to deputize. So I kept walking.
We think it's time for our commercial. This sketch may take all day. We need to sing about those luckies, and it's getting near midday.
Or should we call it high noon? But you know that didn't rhyme. This sketch is taking way too long, and we're running out of time.
Yippee-yi-yay! Yippee-yi-yo! Our luckies are the best.
The luckies are much better tasting, better than the rest. Give him another, time's a wasting. I'm not afraid of death.
And when those guns start smoking, he'll like one for Ma and Pa. No truer words were ever spoken. They're free and easy on the draw. Yippee-yi-yay! Yippee-yi-yes! Golden luckies are the best.
Well, time was running short, and still I could find no one to help me. I had a smoke, but no one would come with me because this was before the days of chlorophyll. I didn't know what to do in my search for help. I wandered down to the Mexican Quarter, and I came upon a group of people who were having a fiesta, needing a deputy badly. I approached one of the men and I said, "Pardon me, senor, but do you know who I am?"
See?
"You know there's a man out to kill me?"
See?
"Would you be willing to help me?"
See?
"What's your name?"
Sigh.
Sai?
See?
Now, you, senorita, are you his sister?
Sí,
Is it all right for your brother to help me?
sí.
And what's your name?
Conchita, Guadalupe, Loito, Luita, Hernandez, Gonzalez, Clarita, Del Prado, Ramona, Rosita, Ramirez.
Conchita, Guadalupe, Lolita Hernandez, Gonzalez, Clarita Del Prado, Ramona, Rosita Ramirez?
Sí.
But that name is too long. What can I call you?
Sue.
Sue? See? But I was talking to her, wasn't I?
Sí.
Oh, what do you do for a living?
So.
See? Now cut that out. I appreciated her offer to help, but I couldn't take a chance on Conchita, Guadalupe, Lolita Hernandez, Gonzalez, Clarita, Del Prado, Ramona, Rosita Ramirez being killed. It would drive the tombstone makers crazy. Now, I had to make up my mind. I wasn't going to wait for Miller to come looking for me. I decided to go down to the railroad station and wait for him.
He made a vow while in state prison, vowed 'twould be my life for his'n. I'm not afraid of death, but oh, what will I do if you leave me?
I reached the railroad station. Frank Miller's train was due to arrive at high noon. There was only a few minutes left. I went inside.
Train now loading on track 5 for Anaheim, Azusa, and Cucamonga.
I was alone in the station except for one cowboy. Thinking I could make him a deputy, I went over to talk to him. "What's your name, partner?"
Tex Crosby.
"Tex, eh? So you were born in Texas?"
I was born in Louisiana. Ain't no one gonna call me Louise.
That's an old joke.
Well, it was new in 1875.
Oh, yes. Well, what are you doing here anyway, Tex?
Well, I'm waiting for Frank Miller to arrive. We're gonna kill the town marshal.
Oh, you are? Well, I'm the town marshal, and I'm going to kill you.
Train now leaving on track 5 for Anaheim, Azusa, and Cook.
Look, I'm going to give you a fighting chance. When I count 3, draw and shoot.
Okay.
A 1, a 2, a 3.
Oh!
Manga.
I got you, Tex.
Oh! Oh! Oh!
As he lay there, he reminded me of his brother, who was a groaner, too. Now I had gotten rid of one of the killers. The high noon train pulled into the station. It came to a stop. Frank Miller got out the very last car, where he was met by his 2 remaining henchmen. This was my date with destiny. There fell a lonely silence as I walked toward the 3 men who wanted to kill me. Alone in the blazing noonday sun, my hands on my guns, as slowly I kept going towards them. My clumsy sound man got up then and continued so I could keep walking. My hands were sweating, my throat was dry. I knew that within 1 minute either they or I was going to be dead. So as soon as I got within pistol range, I drew my guns and fired. Yep. I killed all 3 of them without giving them a chance to talk. This wasn't the way it worked in the movie picture, but I know how to save money on actors. I was safe now. My only problem was whether to ask my wife to come back or go looking for Conchita Guadalupe, Lolita Hernandez Gonzalez, Conchita Del Prado, Romero Rizino Ramirez. But regardless of the mix-up of daylight savings time and where the whole town knew, it was high noon.
Oh, my darling, you made that promise when we wed. Do not forsake me, oh, my darling. Although you're grieving, don't think of leaving until you shoot Frank Miller dead. Wait along, wait along, wait along, wait along.
Oh my goodness, Mabel, I forgot about the man on the phone. He's still waiting. Hello?
How about it, operator? What program goes on at 4 o'clock?
The Jack Benny program, but you just missed it.
I did?
Yeah, but don't worry. Next Sunday is October 5th, and you will not only be able to hear him on radio, but immediately following it, he will be on television too.
Oh, good. The world is waiting.
enjoying your Wild West mood, because next you will experience the Wild West through a thrilling adventure, The Lone Ranger and the Return of Butch Cavendish. But first, we pause to hear some short messages from our sponsors.
You worked too much, you ate too much, the cheesecake made you greedy.
But your aching head and stomach, hear the message from O'Speedy.
Alka-Seltzer, flop, flop, fizz, fizz, oh, what a relief it is.
Flop, flop, fizz, fizz, oh, what a relief it is.
Ah, those speedy Alka-Seltzer bubbles burst into action to relieve your upset stomach and aching head fast.
Use only as directed.
Oh, what a relief it is.
What a relief!
Yes, what a relief and when you get a hankering for a nutritious chocolatey treat, try a Tootsie Roll.
I'm a very lucky boy, I've got a Tootsie Roll Pop.
I'm a very lucky girl, I got a Tootsie Roll Pop.
All of the kids in the neighborhood say Tootsie Roll Pops are triple good.
Triple good!
Triple good, sure, because
On the outside, there's a delicious hard candy.
On the inside, there's a chocolatey Tootsie Roll center and
A Tootsie Roll Pop has that extra special flavory goodness.
Because only a Tootsie Roll Pop has two candy flavors in one pop.
now you remind your mother to buy the new Tootsie Roll Pops Party Pack.
10 delicious pops and assorted flavors.
And look, there's a game or puzzle on the back too.
Remember, all of the kids in the neighborhood
Say Tootsie Roll Pops are triple good.
Triple good!
You'll
love Tootsie Roll Pops.
That's right, folks, the delicious, extra special chocolatey goodness of Tootsie Roll Pops now comes in a party pack. You can find it at your local grocer. Next, we will hear about something brand new and tasty coming to a freezer near you. Popsicles on a stick.
Are you having a bad day in this hot summer weather?
Yes.
Then you should try the new Icy Pop full of 3 new flavors, strawberry, blueberry, and lime.
We would like to try it.
Do you want to try the 3 icy flavors?
Yes. How much are they?
They're only 5 cents a piece.
Where can we buy it?
At your local grocery store. It's the bee's knees, it's the cat's meow, even the big cheese loves it. You're going to want it right in the kisser.
Wow.
Decades have passed since radio listeners first heard the cry of Hi-Yo Silver. Tonight's adventure is a milestone marking the 20th anniversary of the creation of this program and the broadcasting of the 3,128th radio adventure of the Lone Ranger, a character who now ranks in fame with Robin Hood and King Arthur of the Round Table, and whose adventures have enriched the Library of Americana. And now, Cheerios, the nourishing breakfast cereal made from oats and ready to eat, presents the Lone Ranger.
Hi-yo, Silver!
A fiery horse with the speed of light, a cloud of dust, and a hearty Hi-Yo Silver, the Lone Ranger. Yes, when you hear the galloping horse, it's the Lone Ranger. And when you see that delicious breakfast cereal shaped like tiny crayons, letter O's? It's Cheerios. With his faithful Indian companion Tonto, the daring and resourceful masked rider of the plains led the fight for law and order in the early western United States. Nowhere in the pages of history can one find a greater champion of justice. Return with us now to those thrilling days of yesteryear. From out of the past come the thundering hoofbeats of the great horse Silver. The Lone Ranger rides again.
Come on, Silver, let's go, big fella. Hi-yo, Silver, away!
In place of the commercial announcement you usually heard at this time, our sponsors, General Mills, makers of Cheerios, would like to pay special tribute to the Lone Ranger on this historic occasion of his 20th anniversary program. Thunder Martin was one of the closest friends of the Lone Ranger and Tonto. He was closing the corral gate of the ranch, where he worked as a top hand, when he saw a stranger approaching. Thunder observed that the man's clothes were too large and his face peculiarly pale.
Whoa! Oh!
Howdy, stranger.
Howdy. This the Hornblow Ranch?
Yep, and I'm top hand. State your business.
You must be Thunder Martin.
Yes, that's my name.
Is it true that you're a friend of the Lone Ranger?
Yep.
I have an important message for the masked man. Where is he?
Well, he's traveling with a young gent named Dan Reed. Just leave a message with me and I'll give it to the Lone Ranger's engine pal. He'll be here soon.
No! I must see the Lone Ranger. It's a matter of life and death. His death.
Well, he said something about going to a place called Bryant's Gap.
Bryant's Gap?
It's 2 or 3 days travel south of here.
Yeah, I know the place. Steady, fella! Get up! Come on!
Doggone. Matter of life and death? I wonder what he meant.
That night, the Lone Ranger and his teenage nephew, Dan Reed, camped in mountainous country west of Bryant's Gap. After leaving Thunder Martin, they made a side trip to visit the Lone Ranger's secret silver mine. Dan met a trusted old man who lived there, working the mine and refining the ore necessary to provide silver for the Lone Ranger's bullets and his own simple needs.
My brother and I discovered that mine long ago, Dan, before you were born.
That was before you and my dad joined the Texas Rangers, wasn't it, sir?
Yes. When we joined the Rangers, we couldn't work the mine, so we kept the location a secret. Your father's share of that property is now yours, Dan. Someday you may become very wealthy by starting large-scale operations there.
Oh, I don't care about that. I just want to travel with you and Tonto.
Thanks, Dan. But later I'd like to discuss that with you.
How soon will we reach the place where Dad is buried?
We'll be at Bryant's Gap the day after tomorrow.
Well, that's the...
Yes, the anniversary of your father's death.
Yes.
I'll always remember that day. The things that happened completely changed my life. Your life, in fact, the lives of many people. Your father and I were in a group of 6 Texas Rangers who were trailing the Cavendish gang.
That was a powerful gang, wasn't it?
Yes, Dan. Butch Cavendish and his outlaw followers terrorized the entire Southwest. We heard that the gang was hidden in the canyon known as Bryant's Gap. The 6 of us rode into the canyon. Your father, who was in charge of that group, signaled a halt.
Whoa! Whoa there!
Whoa! Captain Reed, why are we stopping here?
I sent a guy ahead to scout the canyon so we wouldn't be ambushed. We'll have to wait for him to report.
Yes, sir.
The guide was not a ranger. He was a civilian, and unknown to any of us, he was working for Cavendish. We waited about 15 minutes. Then the guide rode up and reported.
Ho there! Ho there! Captain Reed, I've located the Cavendish gang.
In the canyon?
No, sir. They're camped in the woods beyond the far end of the canyon.
Did you hear that, men?
Yes, sir.
We'll go through the canyon. On the double. Come on. Easy.
Get on.
Collins, the guide didn't lie to us. Cavendish and his men knew that we were coming. They were waiting behind protecting rocks on both rims of the canyon. They opened fire with high-powered rifles. Our horses went down and the 6 of us were trapped on the canyon floor. 3 of us were wounded in the opening volley. We found meager protection behind rocks and returned the fire. We were at a tremendous disadvantage and hopelessly outnumbered. Your father and I were fighting side by side. We both had several wounds, and then your father said,
"This can't go on much longer. Listen to me while I'm still able to talk. My wife and son are on their way from the east. If you survive, I know you'll take great care of them."
I knew that nothing short of a miracle would bring any of us through this fight alive. But I nodded to your father, and then he said,
"I knew there would be nothing short of a miracle that would bring us through this fight alive." When I nodded to your father, I counted, watch out for mine.
Your father was struck by a fatal bullet. That's the last I remember of that fight.
Tonto told me how he found you in the canyon, and you were the only one alive.
Yes, he nursed me back to health. And he buried your father and the other 4 rangers. And made a 6 mound of earth and a cross with my name on it. So the Cavendish gang would think we had no survivors.
Was it Tonto's idea for you to wear the mask?
Yes, Dan. He made my first mask out of the black cloth in my brother's vest. At first I posed as an outlaw. Well, that made it easier to run down the men in the Cavendish gang.
How long did it take you to get all of them?
Years, Dan. Last of all, we captured Cavendish himself.
And the law hung him in his palace?
Well, some were hanged, and Cavendish and several others went to jail for life. Since then, they've all died, except Butch Cavendish. He's in the territorial prison.
It took you a long time to find me after you become the Lone Ranger.
Yes, Dan, a long time.
How did you know I wasn't massacred by the Indians who attacked our wagon train?
I didn't. But when I heard of that massacre, heard that there were no survivors, some inner sense seemed to tell me that my brother's son still lived. So I never abandoned the search for you, and I finally found you. Now we better turn in and get some sleep. We're breaking camp at dawn.
That night, the man who had stopped to talk to Thunder Martin camped on the trail far north of Bryan's Gap. And that night, Tonto returned to the Hornblow Ranch. After turning his paid horse into the corral, the Lone Ranger's Indian friend rapped on the door of the bunkhouse where Thunder Martin lived.
What in Tonto?
How, Thunder?
Well, come on in. Doggone, I'm glad to see you. Sit down, Tonto. I want to tell you about a gent who came here looking for the Lone Ranger. Came here about noon. Said he had something mighty important to tell the Lone Ranger. He said it was a matter of life and death.
Oh, that's plenty strange.
He wouldn't tell me the message and didn't want to wait for you. So I told him the Lone Ranger was heading for Bryan's Gap. He knew where that is and said he'd go there.
How him look?
Well, he's a homely-looking galoot with small eyes that shift around while he talks. He was wearing clothes that looked like they'd been borrowed from someone bigger.
I wonder why him want Lone Ranger.
Oh, the horse just stopped outside.
Hey, Thunder, are you there?
Yeah, I'm coming. Well, it's Western Union. How are you, Sparks?
All right.
You're a long way from town.
It's on account of this message, Thunder. It came over the wire tonight. It might be important. It's for the Lone Ranger.
Well, Tonto's the masked man's partner. Give him that message.
It just tells someone who busted out of jail.
Let's see. Cavendish.
Yep, Cavendish.
That's Butch Cavendish.
Him man who was here. Me remember him.
But Tonto.
You tell him where Lone Ranger go?
Well, yeah.
Cavendish go there. Him last a bad game. And him kill Lone Ranger. Me try to catch him before it's too late.
It was mid-afternoon on the anniversary of the massacre in Bryant's Gap, when the Lone Ranger and Dan guided their horses past High Cliff toward the canyon's entrance. The ground was littered with rocks of all sizes, some as large as a fair-sized house. When the horsemen came alongside a particularly big boulder that stood a few yards from the base of the cliff, the masked man drew reins.
Stop here, Dan. Whoa.
Golly, this is rough country.
It hasn't changed a bit since that day, years ago.
And just ahead of us here, there's a gap in the cliff. Is that the entrance to the canyon?
Yes, Dan.
Then why are we stopping here? Isn't that where we're going?
Yes. We'll leave the horses here in the shade of the boulder.
Steady, boy. Yes, sir.
Dan, there's the entrance to the cave.
Is that where Tonto brought you after he found you wounded in the canyon?
Yes. That's where I first put on the mask and became the Lone Ranger.
Is it far to Dad's grave?
No. He's buried right at the entrance of the gap. We'll go there now.
The entrance to Bryant's Gap was about 50 yards wide and bounded by cliffs 100 feet or more in height. Masses of rock that had been broken from the cliffs from countless years of wind and storm were piled alongside the canyon. Near the western side of the entrance, there was a little plot of grassland. Here, Dan Reed saw 6 mounds of earth, each marked by a crudely fashioned cross.
Tonto and I carved the names of those crosses before we rode away from here, Dan.
Oh.
This one on the left marks the resting place of the man who led us, Captain Reed.
My dad.
One of the finest, most courageous men who ever lived. You're going to be just like him.
I want him to be proud of me.
Well, he is. Believe me, Dan, he's proud of you.
These others, Jim Bates, Sam Cooper,
Jack Stacy and Joe Brandt, Texas Rangers.
This one, the 6 Cross.
My name is on it, Dan.
Yes, I see.
That's why the Cavendish gang thought that all of us were dead. They never knew that one Texas Ranger became the Lone Ranger.
Oh!
Dan!
A shot!
Come here and keep down.
Moving with the speed of light, the Lone Ranger grabbed Dan's arm and leapt to the shelter of nearby rocks. And the masked man was none too soon. A third shot brushed his shoulder.
Keep your head down.
Who's firing at us?
I don't know.
I don't even see where the shots are coming from.
I did. There is a man on the top of the cliff on the far side.
But you're hit.
It's nothing, just a scratch.
He sure seems determined to get us.
I'll return his fire.
Did you get him?
No, I didn't expect to from here. He's in a position to fire down at us without showing much of himself.
It's a good thing this rock is plenty high.
Yes.
Who do you think he is?
I have no idea, Dan. But I'm going to find out. Here, take this gun. I've taught you to use it.
Yes, sir.
I'll leave my gun belt with you. There's plenty of ammunition.
But you...
Oh, I'll keep one gun. Now listen carefully, Dan.
Yes, sir.
Reach around the side of this rock with the gun and fire in a general direction of the opposite cliff.
Now?
Yes, now try it. Oh, but don't expose your head or shoulder. Oh, that's the way. Now fire. Good.
He fired back.
That's what I want. Now, maintain space gunfire to keep his attention. I'm going to the top of that cliff. I think I can reach it without being seen.
But your shoulder, you're wounded.
A scratch. Now keep firing.
The many boulders concealed the Lone Ranger as he circled wide and reached the cliff on the far side of the canyon's mouth. The cliff was difficult to climb and the masked man was hampered by his wound, but finally he reached the top. He was 100 yards from the edge of the canyon, 100 yards behind the gunman. He reached for the gun he'd stuck in his belt and gasped. His gun was gone.
Plus, you're scaling that wall.
Though one-armed and dismayed, the Lone Ranger lost no time through indecision. He moved ahead cautiously and quickly, hoping that the unknown gunman wouldn't turn. The man was crouched behind a rock at the edge of the cliff. He fired intermittently, and Dan Reed's response came like an echo. The Lone Ranger was 50 yards of the attacker. The distance narrowed to 25 yards, then half of that. When the gunman paused to reload his gun, it was then that the masked man spoke.
Drop that gun! What the? Well, Cavendish! You! Here! Oh, I want you! I'll kill you!
The masked man was charged, but Cavendish was ready. Two men armed only with their fists met face to face. Cavendish swung and missed. The Lone Ranger struck a hard blow. Cavendish snarled.
I waited years to kill you!
The Lone Ranger was weak from the loss of blood. His blows lacked their usual force. Cavendish, on the other hand, was tough and strong from years of hard prison labor, and he knew all the foul tricks of rough and tumble fighting. He kicked and gouged. He clawed and bit. The two became locked and went down. The Lone Ranger's head struck a rock. He was half stunned. Cavendish secured a grip on his throat.
I'm glad my gun was empty. I'd rather kill you with my bare hands.
Weakened, only semi-conscious, the Lone Ranger's fighting heart would not admit defeat. He mustered his strength for a final night effort and wrenched free. He rolled away from Cavendish, then lay back, his head scant inches from the edge of the cliff. Cavendish leaped to his feet.
I'll get you! I'll strangle the life out of you! I'll square things!
The Lone Ranger saw the outlaw coming, arms extended, fingers reaching for a death grip. He thought,
my last chance! My life or his! All right, Cavendish, shoot!
The Lone Ranger could hardly realize that the fight had ended. He had acted instinctively to meet the attack by bending his knees to bring his feet up, and by grasping the outlaw's extended hands, which were reaching for his throat. Cavendish was lifted bodily by the Lone Ranger's boots against his stomach. He somersaulted over the masked man and over the edge of the cliff into the ravine. The Lone Ranger's strength gradually returned, and his brain cleared. He made his way to the base of the cliff. He found the gun that had fallen from his belt, but then hurried to the entrance to Brian's Gap. There he saw Cavendish lying on the ground. Dan Reed and Tonto were at the outlaw's side.
Tonto!
Kimosabi, me learn Cavendish come here. Me ride hard, try to catch him. Me too late.
Tonto arrived when you and the man were fighting on the cliff. We saw Cavendish fall.
Oh. Tonto? He's still alive!
Oh, with him dying, him not live long, hurt plenty bad.
You masked troublemaker! Cavendish, can you hear me?
I hear you. You made trouble for me from the start. Smashed my gang.
Yes.
The Lone Ranger dropped to his knees beside the dying outlaw. He leaned forward so his face was close.
Cavendish, I'm going to remove my mask.
Don't bother.
I want you to die knowing the true identity of the man who smashed your gang.
No!
Look at me. Do you remember me?
No, you Reed! No, you're dead!
No, Cavendish, I'm not dead.
I saw you fall. I saw your grave. All 6 of the Rangers.
One Ranger did not die, Cavendish. One Ranger lived to avenge the others.
Beaten by you. My whole gang smashed by one lone Texas Ranger.
Yes, Cavendish, by one Lone Ranger.
I wish I could have died not knowing it.
Cavendish dead, Kimo-san.
Yes, Tonto, he was the last of that gang. Now we may feel free to take away the 6th cross and smooth the ground so only 5 mounds of earth remain.
Golly, it's like the hand of fate.
What is, Dan?
You, Cavendish, the long years of smashing that game, and it all ends right here where it began.
No, Dan, it doesn't end here. We'll keep riding. I'll keep my mask and continue as the unknown man. There are still many outlaws in the West, men like Cavendish who must be brought to justice.
I want to help. I've shown you I can use a gun. May I have one of my own?
Yes, Dan. But when you're a man, there will be law and order in the West and great cities like those in the East. There will always be bad men, but there will be different from the kind of men we know. To combat them, you'll need weapons and strength and courage, but these must be backed by knowledge and education to handle them intelligently. Our great country will progress only so long as there are leaders. You and young people like you must educate yourselves to be the leaders. Son, I want you to go to college, to study science and law, history and the problems of the government. I want you to learn that many things required so you'll be ready to take your place as a good citizen and carry on where we leave off.
I understand.
Knowing that you're in school preparing for the future, I'll be content to continue helping others bring law and order to the West until young men like you can take over.
I'll go to school, sir. I'll study hard.
In that case, Dan, I feel that I fully kept the pledge I made so many years ago beside your father's grave.
Pledge?
To find you and prepare you for manhood.
I hope Dad knows.
Oh, I'm sure he does. Now go over there, Dan. Go alone to the place where we left him sleeping. There you'll be close to him, and I think you'll know that he and your mother are close together, hand in hand as they watch you. That they're saying, our son is good. Let us pray that he too will have a son who will carry on his name and make him proud.
Imosabe, look at Dan, him kneel by grave.
He's close to his father, Tonto.
And that's where me pledged friendship many years ago.
This is a good time to renew that pledge.
Imosabe, long as you live, long as me live, me ride with you.
Yes, Tonto, I couldn't carry on without you. As long as we ride, we travel together. Hail Silver! Away!
We'll return in just a few moments for the hilarious Fibber, McGee, and Molly episode. But first, a word from our generous sponsors.
Cowboy Tom is a boy of 6. He can rope a steer because he knows he's got gold power from Cheerios. He's got gold power.
There he goes.
He's feeling his Cheerios. Cheerios. Cheerios.
Yes, Cheerios, the cereal that's shaped like a little letter O. No other cereal is like Cheerios, the only ready-to-eat cereal with this wonderful toasted oat flavor. A breakfast of Cheerios with milk, fruit and butter toast is all you need to give you go power. That's because Cheerios is made from energy-packed oats, made to give you the vitamins and minerals you need for healthy nerves, good red blood, strong teeth and bones, the oat cereal that needs no cooking.
He's feeling his Cheerios. Cheerios. Cheerios.
All right, get set, Buck. Here comes the count. 10 seconds to lift off.
9, 8.
Well, gentlemen, it looks like we're ready. And if all goes as planned, we should land on Mars within 60 days. Just think of it, Buck. The first Earth people to travel into space.
Colonel Deering, the whole world will be watching us today. Why, just think of it. If we're successful, it'll mean the beginning of a brand new adventure that was never equaled before. We're taking off.
We're taking off. Wait, something is wrong, but the rockets won't fire. We've forgotten something. Quick, quick.
Hold on.
Eject everything.
Hold on, Wilma. I know what we've forgotten.
What?
This. This is all we need to go to the planet Mars.
Quick, Buck, what is it?
Bubble Up. What else? Gas up with Bubble Up.
Once upon a time there was an engineer.
Choo-choo Charlie was his name we hear.
He had an engine and he sure had fun.
He stood in plenty candy to make his train run. Charlie says,
love my good and plenty.
Charlie says,
really rings a bell.
Charlie says,
love my good and plenty. Don't know any other candy that I love so well.
Good and plenty candy, the name says it all. We will now take a brief intermission.